WeInfuse podcast, episode number 12. Welcome to the WeInfuse podcast. My name is Dylan McCabe, and each week we give you a behind-the-scenes look at the infusion industry, what mostly provider office infusion suites or standalone infusion suites. For those who want to learn more, we really just want to equip you to build a successful practice and to have a situation where really patients get the best care possible. And we like to interview industry experts. And the reason I'm excited about this episode is we're going to interview Jennifer Dillingham from Metro Medical. And I know for different practices and providers, they think, what's the difference between Metro and McKesson and Bessie and all these others? And a lot of people think, well, it's just about trying to get the best deal, but it's really not the case. And these different distributors really try to add value in their own unique ways. And of course, we are absolutely excited about a new strategic alliance WeInfuse has formed with Metro Medical. But more importantly, you're really going to learn kind of the heartbeat of Metro Medical and what sets them apart from other distributors, and just kind of some of the ins and outs of working with a distributor, how you can know it's going well, kind of how you can apply a report card to your relationship with that distributor and make sure you're getting the best customer service possible. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here is the interview with Jennifer Dillingham from Metro Medical. Okay, welcome again. And like I mentioned, we do have a special guest on the show today, Jenny, Sales Director with Metro Medical. And we have our co-host with us, Mr. Reese Norris, one of the founders of WeInfuse. So thank you for being on the show, guys.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
Yes, good to be here with you guys. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And we wanted to do this, at the time of the recording of this podcast, we're at the Norm Conference here in Tampa, Florida. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to record this because Jenny is with Metro Medical, one of the big distributors that focus a lot on the infusion space. And so we just kind of want to get Jenny on the show to talk about changes and trends in the infusion industry, what it's like from a distributor perspective, and just, again, give that behind the scenes look on the infusion space. So before we jump into all that, Jenny, why don't you just take a minute and kind of give like a brief history of Metro Medical for some of our listeners that might not know very much about Metro.
Okay, of course. Thank you. So Metro Medical, we are a specialty distributor. We were privately held for over 30 years and were acquired by Cardinal Health in April of 2015. Prior to our main specialties that we had focused on, and I say what kind of built the company, our foundation was the nephrology space. And then in 2009, 2010, we decided to explore some other TAs. And really what drove that was some key relationships that we had with manufacturer partners that supported that space. They felt that there was a service gap, and that Metro, we have that special sauce, and that we may have some success with those physician office practices. So in 2009, we committed to the rheumatology space, and I was fortunate enough to be a part of that team, worked in a sales role for over 5 years. Today, we still have a strong footprint in rheumatology, but we've grown and expanded in the community gastroenterology, neurology, and multi-specialty non-oncology infusion space. So it's been an exciting journey. Again, we were acquired about 3.5 years ago by Cardinal Health, and that truly has been such a wonderful relationship. We've been able to keep that Metro culture that really does set us apart in some of these therapeutic areas, but we have that the resources and the support from a Fortune 15 company. So to me, it's been great, and I know I'm excited to be a part of that.
Awesome. I just like to add, so when we operated infusion centers, this is a cool podcast for me because we actually purchased our medications from Metro Medical. And so our first rep at the time was Adam Malden, and then it became Ramey, and Ramey's still with the company today, and so we still are great colleagues in the industry. So it's kind of fun to bring it all back.
It has. It's been a fun journey.
Absolutely.
I am so fortunate and lucky to lead a sales team, a very tenured sales team. We do have some young reps that have joined us in the last 18 months. We're growing the team now, but I think our relationships have been so key, and especially being here at Norm, the relationships we have with Norm Ventures, with the Norm organization as a whole, we have learned so much from the members. For most of us, this was kind of our first time in rheumatology. So it's been an exciting journey, a lot of changes, a lot of pressures, I think that we'll talk about later. But just grateful that we still have such a loyal customer base and the relationships.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for some people listening, we have doctors that listen, we have entrepreneurs, we have nurses, we have people all across the spectrum that listen to this. So for people listening, what would you say really sets Metro apart? Because there's Bessie, there's McKesson, there's all. We're not here to throw stones or anything like that. But what's the heartbeat of Metro? What is it that you guys really live for to make a difference in the lives of your clients?
Yeah, then that's a great question. We are our colleagues in this space, the other specialty distributors, everyone does a great job. Everyone is committed, and we've learned a lot from them. We came in last to this specialty, so we had a lot to learn. But I think our customer intimacy is truly what sets us apart. And every business says we have great service, we have great customer service. But I think we live that and we prove that to our customers every day. We have built, like I said, a very solid sales team, 10-year sales team, and we focus on that one point of contact, that one quarterback for the account. They may not be solving the problem, but they're going to be who you go to and let us find within that large matrix of a business, Cardinal Health, Metro Medical, we'll go find the solution and bring that back to you or connect you with the appropriate party. We work very close with our pharma manufacturer partners on contracting through our GPO Cornerstone. And we are, not only do we contract with them, we try to help them build those contracts. We know we've had a lot of success in the nephrology space, some in oncology, and we've taken our learnings and we've shifted them into Room, what works and what doesn't. And again, on behalf of our members. So I think that's key. We have also the hybrid model where our reps are not only in the office managing the account from the distribution and GPO side, but they're out meeting our customers. They're seeing the practices that we work with, that we ship drug to every single day. They're performing that total office call with understanding all of the stakeholders in the office and what their role is and what their challenges are. So we can truly be an extension of the office.
That's great. Yeah, and I heard earlier that that Cornerstone GPO is the top performing GPO.
Gosh,
quarter after quarter.
I have a great team. I really do. I have a great team. I have wonderful support from our GPO management team at our offices in Nashville. Our leadership, it's an equation. And I think it is so important that when we begin working with a manufacturer, we commit, we then align, we understand what our strategies are, and we perform. And I always tell our customers is that, the question that you should ask is, what is your performance track record? Because that's the facts. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing to hide that. It's either you perform or you don't. And our performance is essentially how our practices are successful. And we support the community-based physician office. So we want you to continue to be successful. And when we build these contracts, they're to help you grow your business and be able to offer that infusion therapy treatment to that patient in the community setting. So we've done well. And again, it's a lot of hard work. It's understanding the contracts and really educating our customers and being that resource. So
that's great. And I like that because, if you call and need help with something and you have a rep at Metro, you don't have to worry about calling 4 different people for 4 different things. You can call one person. So I think that's great. And of course, we're super excited because WeInfuse and Metro have formed kind of a strategic relationship.
We did, yes.
So briefly speak to that.
Yes, we are so excited to be working with you guys. It's as we continue to grow in other therapeutic areas besides rheumatology, and we just pull back and look at healthcare in general, I think we can all recognize that technology solutions are going to be key in helping our physician office community practices grow. And we recognize there are a lot of synergies with the WeInfuse organization. Culturally, we are very much aligned. You guys get it. So you have a state-of-the-art platform that really manages that patient through that entire treatment life cycle and then post-treatment. we bring a best-in-class distribution service. So it only makes sense for us to partner and for us to help the community.
Awesome.
Reese?
Yeah, I totally agree. And we definitely value how they have that one-to-one. And you said customer-client intimacy is obviously what we value too. And culturally, we're so much aligned. And I think, the sky's the limit here, and we're super excited to be partnered. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's exciting. You guys, those of you listen to the podcast, you're going to hear about it a lot, I'm sure, because we just want to create synergy and want to add as much value as we can. So, okay, well, let's get into some of the challenges people face. I mean, the infusion industry is an amazing thing. Lives get changed, but we all face challenges. Mm-hmm. It's a ever evolving landscape that people deal with. So, as being on the distributor side, seeing changes and trends in the market and all those things, how do you see some of those changes impacting the practices, the provider offices, especially as it relates to pressures with costs?
There have been a lot of changes. I think we all recognize that a practice's infusion business, it is their by far largest cost. And, we hear from more and more groups that it truly is a challenge for them to be able to offer that service to their patients there in the office. And we recognize that truly is the best place for a patient to be treated, is if that specialist offers infusions, that's where they need to be. We recognize they need to be in the community. It is a positive experience for everyone, but more and more of our practices are sharing just the costs of the drugs, the reimbursement, trying to work and manage the payer contracting. So we hear that, and we are very fortunate to have strong business partners, work, socialize that with our manufacturer partners, but work with the NICA, work with other organizations that we can bring resources to help. I truly feel that there is a need for the community, for there to be access in the community for infusions. We see the site of care shift and expansion to where the payers want that patient again in the community in the physician office, but there's not enough chairs today.
Right.
So I think a rapidly expanding multi-specialty, that's occurring. And then more and more of our, rheumatology sites are either rebranding or they're working with the specialists in their areas, and they're expanding and taking referrals. But we recognize that every practice may not have the resources to do that. So, our hope is to continue to align with them, support them, and understand the challenges, and hope that we can work in this community that we're all involved with to help them remain successful.
That's great. Yeah, and as I hear you speak, what comes through to me is you guys really kind of want to partner with those practices and partner with those offices to help them grow. And that's what I've gotten from you from the moment I met you guys. You guys were welcoming, friendly. There's an expertise that comes in as well, but just that personal touch that even though you guys are part of a massive company, there's still that feel that it's a very small company where you really do matter and you're not just another number. So
thank you.
That's what sticks out to me.
Thank you for saying that. And there's a lot of pride to hear that. So thank you. And that is our goal, is we look at every customer, every practice, every provider, every business partner. You truly are a partner. It takes two. And so we really value that. And thank you.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be, right? So, well, let's shift topics here. As well as we do that new practices are starting infusion. New infusion sites are opening up.
Yes.
And with the changes that you just mentioned, plus all these new practices opening and the new drugs coming down the pike into the infusion space, what are the new needs that you see arising as you deal with all these practices all around the U.S.?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it goes back to challenges. So I think first and foremost is helping our practices, with payer contracting, payer negotiations, prior authorizations. If I've heard it once, I've heard it a million times. It is the biggest challenge for these community groups. So how can we help? Definitely something we're looking at. Technology, again, not just inventory management, but really that how can we build and partner with an organization like WeInfuse to help these practices be more efficient with their infusion business. I think that's key. Biosimilars. We know that biosimilars hit the rheumatology specialty a couple of years ago, and there hasn't been much of an uptick. There hasn't been an impact. I do feel, and we are starting to see some of that open up, but it's definitely, the growth has been a little slower than expected. Mm-hmm. So trying to understand that landscape, what are the providers' thoughts? Where are they going to go as we enter 2019? And we are seeing more and more of the formularies change where a biosimilar is included. So I think, again, what's key is just staying close to our customers, understanding some of the challenges they have, and then again, working in our community to how can we all work together? We're all good at something, right? So how can we come together to better support them? I think that's going to be key with growth.
It's awesome.
Yeah, which speaks again to just customer service. Mm-hmm. Now, when you say you guys would help them, I mean, you mentioned things like prior authorizations, mm-hmm. and we're talking about changes in formularies and inventory management and technology, like you mentioned, billing claims and stuff like that. How do you help them with that? Because somebody may thinking, oh man, if I go through Metro, are they going to do my benefits investigation process for me?
No. And I don't think any of us have nailed that yet, but I definitely know it's on the radar. There's a lot of companies looking at it, like prior authorizations, for example. We're very much aware, very in touch with that space. So no, while today we don't have any services, I think what's important and what the market should know is that, we have our finger on the pulse, and we want to stay close, and we truly want to understand what these challenges are. So as an organization, Cardinal Health, we can take a step back and focus on the impacts. What critical impacts can we make? How can we help our customers? And again, not even in rheumatology, across multiple specialties that that are underneath that Cardinal Health specialty umbrella.
Yeah, and what stands out to me is I've talked to some of your reps even over this weekend at the conference, and they understand the infusion practice business model. I mean, they understand mm-hmm. what's necessary. They understand numbers. They understand the needs. So they can come alongside these doctors and, again, not do it for them or offer consulting services. Yes. But you guys provide expertise and oversight that the typical practice may not be used to. And that's what I've gotten from you guys is that, I talked to one rep last night, and he was giving me the breakdown on margins for drugs and reimbursements and stuff like that. And I was really impressed because a lot of doctors, we come across doctors that call us up and say, hey, well, I want to start infusing, but I don't know how that works. I don't know what the benefits investigation process looks like. I don't know what my reimbursement rate should be and all this stuff. And so it's just great that you guys have the skill set and the knowledge to give some oversight with that as needed.
We do. And I think, again, I just go back to the network that we've built. I hope that we have built strong relationships and credibility in this space to where when we don't know all the answers, and we're not going to know all the answers. But what we will do is we will go find the subject matter expert that can help, and we will pull them in. So, for example, we do hear of a practice that's wanting to look at starting up their in-office infusion business. We would probably reach out to the WeInfuse organization and pull in those experts, at least make that connection if they were able to help with that consulting and getting that started. Same thing if we come across a practice that's struggling with a local payer that's wanting to move patients to a different therapy or a different method of delivery of drug. We love pulling in the NICA. How can you help? So I think that's what's key is that, we may not have the answer, but we will go out and we will find it and we will connect you with that individual.
Yeah, that's great. Now, let's change to another subject that some people are interested in, and that's biosimilars.
Yes.
So I know very little about biosimilars. Yes. So how have biosimilars changed the infusion industry?
Mm-hmm. Again, great question. I know that I touched on that just a couple minutes ago, but today, there really hasn't been a substantial impact with biosimilars. We do have great relationships with both of the manufacturers in this space. We've been able to contract with them through our GPO. So we do have competitive access to the products, but really our practice. We hosted a summit in April in Chicago, Illinois, and brought together 30 office managers and 30 rheumatologists. And we continue to focus on that platform. Biosimilars is one of the subject matters that we focus on. And there's still, a lot of the docs, they still don't, they don't feel the need to make a change. They haven't had to make a change. They're still able to keep those stable patients on the reference product. They're still, for the most part, able to keep the new starts on the reference product. Shift to where we are now, entering October, we are starting to see some of the coverage, some of the formularies in pockets of the country open up and, require new starts to be put on a biosimilar. So more and more practices are starting to move in that direction. They are starting to look at it, but it's a lot of education. It's been a challenge. I think education is needed. Educating the patient is needed. So it will be interesting. We'll continue to monitor to see where it goes.
It's been new for everybody. It's new for the payer. It's new for the distributor. It's new for the provider, the physician, and it's new for the patient. So it's you're right. It's taking a while to ramp up and see the change actually hit the market, but we're starting to see it as well at WeInfuse.
Mm-hmm. So yes. In ever evolving landscape.
Yes.
Indeed.
All right. Well, let's wrap up with this last topic here. And we've dealt with challenges, we've dealt with changes. What would you say are some, just a few, 2 or 3 key practices or key insights that a practice can keep in mind to succeed as they go forward?
Great question. I think first and foremost is investing in your infusion business. What you were able, again, to offer your patient is special. And that truly is where that patient should be seen, where they should be treated. So we want to ensure that you're able to continue to own that and to manage that and to run that. So I think you have to invest in your infusion business. And a couple things there is technology. I truly think that practices have to begin looking at, technology companies that they can partner with to help them with that, to ensure that they're being efficient, they're being accurate, and they're optimizing that business. Second, I think it's key that you have a strong relationship with your specialty distributor and a GPO. I think it's key to understand the products that you're using, the contracts that you're aligned to, and ensure that then the GPO that you're a part of, that they're working with the manufacturers and they are out there on behalf of its members advocating on how those contracts can be built, they can continue to be restructured, reworked as the market changes and as we see biosimilars and other things. So I think just being in touch with the business and ensuring that, you're constantly taking a look at things and making sure you're being as optimal as needed.
That's great. Yeah. And so with all that said, what's one parting piece of advice for our listeners that are involved in the infusion space from the perspective of a distributor? What's one thing you would want our listeners to take away?
Call Metro. No, just kidding.
Yeah, nice. Yes.
Just kidding,
Yeah.
just kidding.
Nice. Well, that's the obvious, but no, I think honestly, what you bring to your community is special. Don't take it for granted. You're impacting patients' lives. You are bringing that, best in class treatment. So I think it's critical that just as really an industry that we all continue to partner together. We grow our network. We build our relationships among each other, because at the end of the day, we are doing something special, and we're very lucky that we get to do that. So I think we have to take a step back and just remember we all have the same goal, and just to keep that in mind.
That's so good. And that comes through in every episode. I mean, it really is all about the patient.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And changing lives. Well, this has been great. I mean, thank you so much for being on the show, because you bring a unique perspective, and it's helpful for our listeners. It's helpful for us. And it's just, again, we're super excited to have a strategic alliance with Metro and even increase the value we can all add. So
yes.
How can people who listen to this and want to get in touch with you guys, how can people reach out to Metro and connect with you guys?
Oh, great. Well, of course, I'd be happy. We're at the NORM meeting this weekend here in Tampa, Florida. I will we'll be at the American College of Rheumatology meeting in a couple weeks in Chicago, Illinois. So For those that will be there at the meeting, please stop by our booth. Come find me. I'll have a name tag on. I also encourage you to visit our website, metromedicalorder.com, cornerstonepartnersgpo.com, and take a look. You'll find contact information there. But if you see me, please come up and tap me and introduce yourself.
And that was metromedicalorders.com?
Metromedicalorder.com.
Order.com.
Yes.
And then
that's going to take you to our B2B site, and there you'll be able to kind of drive. You can actually dive into our GPOs and find some direct contact information there.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
All right, that concludes our interview with Jenny from Metro Medical, and we hope you got some nuggets of wisdom from that. And of course, you can learn more by just contacting Metro Medical, reaching out to the local rep to learn more on their end. To learn more about WeInfuse, as always, you can go to our website. You can check out our IV Insights blog. You can listen to other podcast episodes. And if you don't have WeInfuse in your office today, definitely go and request a demo. You can see firsthand for yourself how WeInfuse simplifies the infusion practice workflow in a way that no other platform does today. And that's our goal, is to make your life easier, to take the confusion out of infusion and also provide best patient care as well. And we think our new strategic alliance with WeInfuse and Metro can do that in a better way. So thank you for joining us. This is Dylan McCabe with the WeInfuse podcast, and we will catch you in the next episode.